Assalamu alaikum, my name is Salim Siddiqui, and you're watching a HotConflict.com video series talking about the importance of Eid, the great celebration, Eid al-Akbar, Eid al-Adha, the Eid of the sacrifice. And we said that during this time of Eid, this great, noble, auspicious occasion, that Muslims all over the world are gathered together to celebrate the great festival with their families and pray and celebrate the praises of their Lord. All of them bowing their heads towards Mecca, the holy house in the Arabian Peninsula that Abraham and Ishmael built with their noble hands to worship the one true God. And we said that we're continuing to give you a story in a way that you never heard it before, in the language of English, that this tale has never been told, in a way that you can understand this methodology, transported and disseminated over the internet and the technology so anybody who can hear the word will understand. And it's an auspicious occasion, an amazing thing, something that has never happened before on the face of the earth. Well, yes, I said that I am making a claim that is bolder and more magnanimous than anybody else has ever made a claim. I am claiming for the first time, greater than any guru or whistleblower or any other thing, that there is nothing, absolutely nothing special about me, but that the fact that the story that I'm telling you is so incredible and amazing and makes so much sense and answers so many questions, if not all of them. But we said the story must go on, and there are still some issues that we must talk about, so we have to remind ourselves of the fundamentals. The fundamentals of the story have always remained the same, and that is that there's only one God. Forget about all the misconception and misdirection on all the labels and misunderstanding. We said that we must remember that fundamental truth, that there's only one God. The way to understand the Lord Most High is as the light. And any other description or icon or image or symbol, or trinity or triangle or pyramid or sign or zodiac, doesn't represent the light. God is glorious and most high. He cannot be conceived or imagined in the brain of any of the sons of Adam. But we said that God created Adam, and we have a soul, all of us sons of Adam. And that this whole story that I'm telling you has been planned out and organized and revealed to those who understood the truth of the light. Every prophet who bore the truth of the light, from Adam to Noah to Moses to Jesus and all the other prophets in between, all the way down in the chain of the story that we're telling you to the prophet Muhammed, who gave us the word and his statements of knowledge and preserved for all time. And I'm telling you this strange tale that answers all of the questions that humanity has ever asked of a Western audience, explaining all of the sciences and knowledge that we have ever pondered here in the Western modern world. And I'm telling you a tale of the ancients in a new way, and it's answering for you all of your questions in a way that you have never heard before in the English language. And I said that everything that I'm talking about is called Islam, the story of the truth, and the one who understands and submits to the true story, Islam, is called a Muslim, meaning someone who submits to the truth. And ignore any of the names and policies and groups that people might have misdirected you in today. I don't represent any group or nation or society. I'm a free man, born and raised, with a soul, with the ability to speak in a land that, as far as I know, called America, anyone can speak the truth. And I'm not uncovering any top secret government project. I'm not involved in anything to do with any covert operation. I am just somebody who has been able to do what our prophet told us by the very first order of God, and that is to read. And I have been all over the world reading different things, And I got to the point in this story where I said we must always remember that there is a battle between light versus darkness. And of the other side, there are many who are fighting against us. And they have always tried to misdirect and confuse you and wrap you up in darkness when you should be searching for the truth of the light. And that if you understand the whole story, then you would never think of harming any of the other sons of Adam, as all of us who are sons of Adam are trying to find the light. And we just finished the part about talking about the African American people and their noble nature by their very creation, that as dark as their skin may be, they have been blessed with internal connections closer than any other people on the face of the earth, with both the communication of the word and the rhythm of the soul, a gift that none of the other races have as greatly as they do, and it is a blessing for them. But we said that we're going to tell the tale in a way that you never heard of before. And so again, it becomes incumbent upon me to explain what really happens when somebody, and we're claiming that on the earth, no one has ever spoken this story in the English language, that the truth has never been revealed to mankind spoken in this language that I'm speaking to you. I'm making a stupendous claim that I, the son of a man named Shamshad Ali Siddiqui, am being blessed by the Lord Most High with an honorable gift of telling you something that you have never heard before. But we said we were in a strange place in America. And I'm not trying to explain things as some guru or some futurist. I'm not trying to create some kind of cult following. I understand that people are searching for the truth and always looking for the light, but no one has ever on the face of the earth come to you in the English language and told you the story that I'm now telling. And the reason why I'm able to tell it to you is still more amazing. So if I am revealing the truth and not just some false prophecy, we said in the story that you know that the Prophet Muhammad is the seal of the prophets, bearing the final word, and so anybody who comes after him is a false prophet. And if I were to make claims that were unsubstantiated, that I knew things that nobody knew, then I would be saying nonsense myself. But I have told you from the beginning of this story that everything in the story that I have told you is verifiable and searchable amongst the knowledge of mankind. So still the tale sounds so strange. And so as I give the caveat that I'm not someone who makes predictions, meaning I'm not like some guru that you can go to and pay $5 and he tells you your fortune and says, next week, use these numbers on the lottery. That's such misguidance and ignorance. Although there are people who might have knowledge of numbers and astronomy and zodiac and fortune telling and all kinds of false truths and lies, as we know that the forces of evil are always there to misdirect people and to make them believe something that they shouldn't believe. So if you're listening to this story, then you should know that I am no one to be followed. I'm just a son of Adam, and I sin and make mistakes. And there is nothing great in me except for that I had been given a blessing of a gift. And every time a person tells the story of the truth and they say that they're telling you the story of the truth, they must admit that it is not because of them that they have the ability to tell the story. But they still must prove to you how it is that they can tell the tale. So we said in the United States of America that one of the greatest burdens that we bore was this stain of slavery. Because in our tale that we said of light versus darkness, all of the sons of Adam are free. And we referenced the fact that the leaders of this country, called America, when they founded this country, were searching for the light. And as I told you, if we talk about the story in its totality, then obviously everybody should know the truth of the reality and all of it will make sense. And that there won't be any way to mask the truth or confuse yourself If you're not understanding what I'm speaking of at this point and the dramatic claims that I'm making, please go back and listen to the beginning of the story. And so here again, I must just say the truth that has been hard to say. I had hesitated mentioning it, but since I'm telling the story of the truth of the light, I'm going to disclose to you a personal problem. And as always is the case, someone who is admitting the story of the truth must tell you what they have not been successful in. But now that I understand the story, it is not as burdensome and painful as it once was. Well, the truth is, I said what? I had been in law school in the United States studying the great words of our nation. And I found the most amazing thing, that the founders of this nation tried to establish with us a Bill of Rights and a Constitution so that every single man who ever walked upon this earth called America would be free and could seek the light. But slowly the forces of darkness and corruption and misguidance and not having the truth of the whole message, only having the goodwill of the early people, the truth gets corrupted and slowly we lose things. Well, myself as well in this story, I'm sitting there in law school after realizing that there was something amazing. By the time you get to the second semester or third semester, you start to feel so disgusting because we said this is always a story about the truth of the light and the darkness, and anybody who studies the American legal system or any legal system by anyone other than that of the Lord Most High sees injustice. Only what the Lord says is just and true because he is the Lord and is planner of all things. But strange things start to happen as I'm looking at the law, and I start to get more and more disheartened because I see that the law that was supposed to be based on searching for the light starts to become about misdirection and manipulation. And the corruption starts to spread through the legal system. And since I have to admit my own flaws, and this is one of the most embarrassing pointers that has hurt my own father more than anyone else. I said my father always used to say, I want a son. I pray for him, oh Lord, give me a son who will speak the words and talk to the people and tell them the truth. But he didn't know what that meant. And I used to hear him and think, what is it that this old man is talking about? You know, you hear your dad say strange stories about the Eastern culture and the Eastern light, and one day this, that, and you don't believe it. Daddy, I didn't understand the truth. Oh, my father, peace and blessings be upon you. And so, as the story goes, I continued to go to law school so disheartened. And I told my father I don't really want to practice law. And my father had such strong desires that if you become a lawyer, that will be the answer. Because in the West, to understand the law, to be able to communicate at that level, is an understanding for the people. My father knew that. I didn't understand it. But anyway, I went to the law school and continued to study. And so, since the truth be told, I have to admit my own flaws, I started to get so disgusted with what I was learning that my heart wasn't in it. My soul wasn't in it. I didn't feel the light. And so I sat there in class and just listened and really didn't pay attention. And my mind was trying to search for things that I didn't understand. As I told you in this story, everything that I am revealing to you right now in this moment, I didn't know before. I didn't even know this last week. And so as I sat in law school, slowly I got disheartened. And as is the plan of the Lord Most High, the idea of me being a lawyer was not in the plan of the Lord. Not that I didn't try, not that I didn't want to, but as is truth, and I'm revealing the truth in this video, something that none of my friends or most of my family don't even know, because why would anybody reveal the embarrassing secret of themselves? And it's a sign for me and for you that we should never be arrogant and should be humble if we truly want to seek the light. And that even when sometimes some things go bad, there might be a sign of good things to come. That after 4 years of going to law school, and if you've listened to me and understand, I'm not a dumbass. I'm admitting I'm just a son of Adam and I don't know much, right? I'm not claiming to be knowledgeable, but I'm not a total dunce in the wall, right? I'm not a log. I can put a few words together, right? I think I could formulate a sentence. And so I went through law school, and by the 4th year, as the circumstances had it, not paying attention and not even trying and not even listening or doing any of the reading or doing the things that anybody should, I was finally thrown out of the law school and removed. After 4 years, instead of graduating with a 2.0, I got kicked out after 4 years with a 1.96824. I mean, something so ridiculous that it is funny to tell and embarrassing. But I know the reality of the truth now, so I can be at peace. And I hope that my father hears this, because I know that the desire for me to go to law school and become a lawyer was always greater for my father than it ever was for me, and perhaps that's the reality of the truth. But the Lord Most High is the greatest of all planners, and I've admitted that terrible lack of grace on my part, only because I'm insisting that what I am revealing to you here is greater than anything else. And so, since I'm telling you the truth of the story of the light from the beginning to the end, and talking about myself as the person who is revealing to this earth for the first time to all of mankind in the English language the story of the truth, I must continue to tell you where I am in this story. So after law school is finished, and I don't graduate, and I don't take the bar, and I'm kind of ducking and dodging most of my friends who are now, I'm hoping, listening to the story. And if you understand, I'm sorry. I was too shy to tell you because I was embarrassed that I failed out of law school. It just wasn't meant to be. But the beauty of the story, just listen to it because it gets more amazing. It's at this point I have to accept the reality of where I am in the story, and why it is important those who understand the signs will make it clear to you. We have said that all the sons of Adam are always trying to remember what is the truth. And the truth reminds the believer. And when I explain this to you, why the truth is the reminder to any believer, you might just feel the light and say, I accept Islam. I accept the truth of that story. I want to be amongst those who call themselves Muslims. And I told you I won't ask you to do anything, but I'll just reveal to you the story, and you shall know the truth of your own, right? That is the claim of any bearer of the truth. That something had been happening to me. I had started to realize that in something that my father had said was some wisdom, but I still didn't understand what it meant. My father had said, "Oh Lord, give me a son who can speak to the people." And so I said, listen, I finished law school. I didn't graduate and I can't practice law. And anybody who's been to law school knows that basically what law school is an advanced degree of communication. And so since we're talking about speaking and communication, and I said, you're going to hear the story in a way that it's never been told to you before, and you're going to hear why it is that you're able to get the truth of the story from someone who is able to communicate it to you in your own words by the proof of the signs of his very existence. And so I have been sitting here on this planet Earth trying to figure out, how do I explain some of these ideas that I have to other people? And so obviously in this modern day and age, the best way to communicate is online, right? Anybody can go and use this amazing technology that we have to communicate with any of the sons of Adam. It is almost like we are at a stage in the world where we are ready for someone to say the words once and for all on the earth, and for all of the world to hear it, and for everyone to know why the truth is being said and how it is said. But how do you say that truth? I don't know. And so I started to talk about different things on the hotconflict.com website and started to say, all right, let me tell them stories of different things. Let me mix Eastern and Western culture. I understand these ideas from the East and what the religion is really talking about, and there is so much misconception and misdirection and misunderstanding, and so much is lost in translation, as they say, that if someone were to tell people the stories and explain to them in the right way, they might be able to understand. But oh, the situation here is so difficult. As you know, that you have been told that we are at war with Islam, and for the last 7 years we have been told that there is a global war on Islam, that the enemy is your Muslims and they're everywhere. They're jumping out at you in the dark and they all believe in these secret things. But there's not any Muslims to come and say the truth. And the whole of the world is asking, where in the world is any Muslim? How come there is not a single Muslim in the world who is coming to tell the truth? And all of the Muslims are saying, Islam means peace, Islam means peace. And all the non-Muslims are lying, yeah, shut up. Why are you killing everybody if Islam means peace? Don't give me that crap, you Muslims. You crazy terrorists, towelhead niggers, sand niggers. Go the frack back to your country. I'm saying that because sometimes when people find out that I'm Muslim and they don't understand the truth of everything, they'll tell me to go back home. And it's a little bit sad because as I'm telling you the story in your own words, sometimes I'm told to go back home. And as things had been so dark, there were times on this earth that I sat here and said and cried and said, I have nowhere else to go. It's funny, right? I told you I could crack a joke. But it's true, I got nowhere else to go. Please don't yell at me, people who don't understand the story, and tell me to go the frack back home, because I don't got anywhere else to go. I'm here in the United States of America. I don't have a home. I'm half white, half brown. No country, no language, not knowing where to belong on this planet of Earth. What a mess. And still being here in the United States of America, as fracked up as the whole world is, we still have some pretty amazing, decent rights here in the United States of America, and I'm at least able to speak the word, but I don't know what to say. And so I'm doing things online, and I'm writing a podcast, and I'm doing podcasting and talking to people about strange concepts of pop culture and stories and television, and trying to relate concepts for people. And some people have listened, and some people have heard, and some people have logged on to the hotconflict.com website, and I put videos on YouTube and other forms of communication, and even in some basic messages that I've said, I've seen the sign that over the last couple of years of me trying to do this, I've noticed that more than 100,000 people listened or watched videos that I put on YouTube, and that freaked me out. Just simple things that I did and said, here's an idea about this, and this is what Muslims really think. And 100,000 people have listened, and I thought, wow, this is greater than any time anybody has ever gotten people together. You couldn't grab a bunch of people together and tell them a story and freak them out like you can today. You could go online and say something and have the whole world listen. The whole world could hear the story. If someone were to come and tell the story of the truth and just tell them everything, the whole world could know we're at an amazing time. But where is any Muslim to come and say the truth? No one was there. And people were waiting for signs and saying, what's going to happen? We're at a state where the East and West looks like it's going to clash. Nobody even understands Islam, and a lot of people who falsely use the name Islam are causing destruction, and people who don't understand the truth of the light are fighting amongst ourselves. And America is engaged in this global war on terror, not being able to clearly define who the enemy is or what it is we're fighting for, because we have all been confused and misdirected about the truth of the story. And I'm not making a political speech, and I have no point of view on policy other than to remind everybody that we should be searching for the light and a sign. So many of those who call themselves Muslims, when we talk, like our families, we ask different types of questions and we say, what is it that you're seeing? We are living in strange times. Weird things are happening. Right? Some catastrophes could be coming. What's going on? Are we at the end of days? And everyone is making all kinds of bold claims. And I told you, we're going to reveal a lot to you, but not everything. I'm not going to talk about the future. Already this story has taken too long, so I'm not going to talk about the future. But if I'm saying to you that I know the story of the truth of the light, and that we have been given the final prophet, and that all prophets in this story were told of the signs to come of other prophets so they could recognize the story, and that anyone who hears the story should recognize it, that the final prophet would have told us also what is to come. And so, of course, as someone who has been blessed with understanding of the light, I have what is available to anybody who searches of what is to come in the future. And at this point, I will make a warning and prove that which I claim. Unlike any other soothsayer or fortune teller, the sign that will be given when somebody speaks the truth is greater than anything you can imagine. And so many people of the Muslims are debating strange issues and talking, what's happening to the Muslims in the West? Will someone reveal the truth and make people understand? Well, eventually, some days, the sun rises in the West as a metaphor, and people will know the story of the truth of the light. And these are strange concepts. And so I'm talking to my family. Once in a while, we get together. And as I said, my sister's nephews and nieces and different people, we always talk and get together and talk about the story. And so I have been working on this for the last few years, trying to figure out the truth of what to say in the English language. And I have been looking for a sign and not being able to understand what is the truth. Now we said if we understand the fundamental, we must say that there is only one God. And that has always been the fundamental in the story of the truth of the light. All of us are sons of Adam, and no one is superior to another son of Adam. Now God told us the fundamentals, which are there are angels made of the light that have free will. They don't disobey the commandments of their Lord. There are jinns and other races that were created before Adam. And they have various natures and descriptions, and we can go through that again. You can go back. And that God made Adam, and Adam was told that he is the most superior of races. And that God taught Adam the word. And that Adam was told, as I am telling you, that there will be coming future generations and prophets bearing the word and the revelation of the books. And all of the people who say we believe in the truth believe in all the fundamentals, that we as sons of Adam live and die, and one day we will be raised by the Lord Most High and judged for our actions. And depending on our faith and our actions, we will be rewarded and punished in the eternity of heaven and hell. And the descriptions of these things we have talked about from the beginning of this story. As we said, the story can't change. But we said in the United States of America that they had forgotten a fundamental point in the story between light versus darkness, and that sons of Adam had been enslaved, and this was a terrible stain on our nation. But if someone were ever to come and tell the story of the truth of the light to a people, then there must be a sign that precedes it that is amazing. If a group of people is ever to get the truth of what we call al-Islam, the truth of the light, if a people is ever to have revealed in their own language the truth of the light, a sign must come to that nation that is clear. And so, without any further ado, I am claiming very clearly, because that fact that the Lord is the Most High and planner of all things, that before this Western world could hear the truth of the story that I am telling you, a sign from the Lord Most High must be established on the face of the earth. What is that sign? It must be amazing and dramatic, and it must be incredible. Well, if you understand the whole tale as I'm telling it to you, you are wondering how it is that I'm expressing to you this fantastic journey, then every single part of it must be able to fit perfectly. So now I am about to reveal to you the story of the truth of a man that you all have heard of. His name is Barack Hussein Obama. What is the truth about our future president-elect? It's going to get weird.